Hey, I'm back again, and I want to look at some suggestions or some good advice on cleaning your kidneys or keeping your kidneys clean. And I think we all need this advice, and I found it pretty useful. And I didn't get to finish all of it, but I'm going to take a look now and see what pertains to me, and you can see what pertains to you as well.
As important as the liver in detoxification. In fact, they work together because the liver does something called phase one, phase two detoxification. And this is where you have various enzymes that are turning fat soluble poisons into harmless water soluble particles. So both the gallbladder with its bile and the kidney help to eliminate these water soluble particles that used
See,
to
I'm just
be
learning the
fat
kidney, the
soluble
gallbladder,
poisons. So if
and
there's any
the
problem with
liver
the
all
liver
work together.
where you don't
I
get this water
kind
soluble
of had an idea,
breakdown
but I
product,
didn't know this.
then it overloads the kidney and the other parts of the digestive tract. So it's very, very important to have each detoxification organ to be working to share the load. So the liver gets hammered with xenobiotics, which are just like chemicals in the environment, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, things like that. Steroid byproducts from your own body's production of steroids. That would be like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, things like that. And then drugs, okay, medications just hammer the liver and the kidneys.
Huh.
Then we have glyphosate, which is
In
in
a
our
way,
entire
I
food
feel like
supply,
such a
not
lack
to
of
mention it's in the
control
water, it's
in
in
this. Like
foods, it's all over the place.
this,
Then you have
yeah,
things like
it's all over the
PCBs,
place.
which are
So they say we
chemicals
have
in
control. Well,
plastics.
we don't.
So
Do we
the
have
water
control
bottle
how
that you
we how
drink,
healthy our body is?
the plastic
It
that
seems like it's
you
limited.
microwave your lunch in, all can leach out these chemicals. And your liver and your kidney have to deal with them. So each year, more chemicals are being pumped out, and our environment is becoming more and more toxic. So our bodies are having to deal with this and detoxify them. So the kidneys get rid of certain protein byproducts and eliminate urea, ammonia, and uric acid. And so if there's kidney weakness, those things can build up and create toxicity. And so the kidney really is just a composite of millions of tiny little filters, okay, just filtering things out. And so a really good way to test these little filters is to check something called the GFR, glomerular filtration rate. And that just measures how fast things are being filtered through the kidney. The kidney has to deal with heavy metals. The worst heavy
Uh,
metal would be
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know. I guess he'll talk about it. How you check that? There's so many things to check. If you watch all these health videos, there's so many things to check. How much time do you have in a day? I guess it is your health, but life drags you one way or the other. How many times or how much time do you have during the day to check all of these measurements of your health and different organs in your body?
cadmium because the kidney has a very difficult time getting rid of that heavy metal. And cadmium usually comes from smoking because it's in the fertilizer that they use to grow tobacco. It's also in commercial soybeans. So cadmium hits the kidney the most out of any.
Okay, that's a little easier for me to avoid anyway. I'm sure that's a little easier for a lot of people to avoid. Don't smoke. And soybeans, I guess it's a little bit more challenging, but it gives you a sense of, okay, I can do something about this. But there's a soy in a lot of things. But that means if you smoke and eat a lot of soy products, then guess what? Are you screwed or something? What's going on? Anyway,
body tissue. In fact, 20% of osteoporosis is caused by cadmium toxicity. Then you have mercury, right? Very toxic to the kidneys. Mercury fillings, which I had all mine removed. I think every single tooth in
whoa,
my skull had silver mercury
good
fillings.
grief.
Also, when you consume larger fish, it can be pretty toxic with mercury.
But I like
Now,
fish.
as you age, you lose the
Now I gotta
ability
figure out what
to
rivers have
filter.
mercury.
A
I like
nine-year-old
going
has
fishing.
like 50% of
And
kidney function.
how much mercury is in the fish in the store that you buy? I don't know. Sometimes I know this is good advice, but sometimes if you think about it too hard, it could make a person feel like, oh, it's hopeless. What can I do? But at the end of the day, everybody's body is different, right? Some people's body have a high tolerance for things, and there are people that smoke that live to be 98, 100 years old. So, you know, there's only so much you can do. Sometimes, uh, there's things outside of you that affect, you know, how you live and how long you live and how healthy you live.
Compared to a 20-year-old. And these chemicals that we're exposed to in the kidney destroy the mitochondria. Then you lose more and more ability to detoxify, and then these chemicals accumulate and they recirculate through the body. Then you have NSAIDs, right? So many people are on those for inflammation. Before you had a good prescription, but as soon as those patents ran out, they became over the counter. And so a lot of people are taking way more of those than they really should. And there's no long-term studies on the chronic exposure to NSAIDs on different body tissue, especially the kidney. But we do know that if you've been exposed to NSAIDs over 3 years, it can cause irreversible kidney damage. Now, the
I
other
have to
very
look up what
important thing I want to
NSAIDs
talk
are.
about is the consumption
So
of
many
too much
medications
sodium and not enough
have these side
potassium.
effects.
When people
Okay, now
think
we're on
about
to sodium and
potassium, they
potassium.
immediately think
Okay.
that it's bad for the kidneys, but it's not. There's a lot of new science that shows that potassium is kidney protective. It's called nephroprotection. And I put a lot of the research down in the description so you can check it out. But an average person, at least in the US, consumes between 3.4 grams to 4.9 grams of sodium every single day. That's 4,900 milligrams, okay? As far as potassium goes, an
That's a
average
lot.
person only consumes 2.1 to 2.6 grams of potassium when they actually need at least 4,700
Don't bananas have a
milligrams
lot of
every
potassium?
single
Does that mean
day.
I eat a lot of
And when you
bananas?
have too much sodium
Bananas have
and
a lot
not
of
enough
sugar also.
potassium, there's three big problems. Number one, you potentially can get high blood pressure. Number two,
Of
heart
course.
disease. And number three, chronic kidney disease. Many doctors tell
Sounds
patients
like
focus on sodium, sodium,
diabetes.
sodium, but they don't talk about potassium. The sodium potassium ratio is way more important than just one of these minerals. If you have enough potassium, you're protected against the excess amount of sodium. So in reality, those ratios should be completely reversed. You should have at least twice as much potassium as sodium. And this is mainly due because of low potassium diets. The three things that affect you,
Us
especially the
donuts
kidney,
and
when you are
croissants.
on a low potassium diet, is number one, you get inflammation of the kidney. Number two, you get a lot of oxidation and free radical damage on the kidney. And the third thing is fibrosis of the kidney. You're basically going to lose the function of the kidney. Now, the other thing that is also very important, and you may already know this if you watch my other videos, is that the number one thing that destroys the kidney is a high carb diet. Because if you take a look at diabetics,
Yes,
for
heard this
example,
several
they
times.
have four main big problems. They usually always have kidney problems because glucose destroys the kidney filter. High levels of glucose in the kidney create massive oxidation and destroy the kidney. This is why diabetics have such a high risk of being on kidney dialysis long term. I mean, the big push is to control your blood sugars, but not to control the diet, the high sugar. If you were controlling the blood glucose with medications, where do you think this glucose is going when you take the medication? Is it evaporating? No, it's just going from one place to another. It's being shoved in different parts of the body. Unless you get off these carbs, I don't care how much you try to regulate the glucose in your blood, it's going to create a problem in another place. But the four
So you're wasting
places
money on these
that
medications to
high
say,
glucose, either being a pre-diabetic or a
eh.
diabetic effect, is number one, the kidney. Number two, the brain and the nerves. Three, the vascular system and the heart. And number
Yeah, I can see
four,
how it's all
the
tied
eye.
together.
But diabetic nephropathy is a very common condition with diabetics. And it's destruction of the kidney because you're a diabetic. You have high glucose flowing through your bloodstream. Now, overall, the common symptoms for kidney problems would be anemia, high blood pressure. We've already talked about that. Itchiness, edema, foamy urine, because you've lost kidney function. And if the kidneys can't filter out the protein, it starts getting foamy. And then you have ammonia breath is another symptom. And then a metallic taste in your mouth and frequent urination, which usually is occurring because you have too much glucose in the bloodstream. This is why the best thing to do for frequent urination is to give up your carbs and stop snacking at night. It produces dramatic effects within days. Okay,
Oh,
you won't be getting up through the night. I'll put that video down below. And then the last big symptom that occurs with kidney problems is darker urine. Okay, your urine is darker brown because you're getting more byproducts that are going through this filter that's
that's pretty
damaged.
brown.
All right, so this is the list of what to do to start cleaning the kidney. And I think a better word for that would be to improve the detoxification pathways of the kidney. So, number one, the most important thing is to eliminate the toxic
You also
exposure
lose weight
on your
doing this.
kidneys. So,
I've
you need
tried
to
it.
start eating cleaner or going on an organic
It's
diet,
already
getting
kind
a
of
water
on
filter,
the
making sure
smaller
that
side.
you're on the least amount of medications
It's only 4 pounds
possible,
anyway. Could be
basically
water.
eliminating the things that are destroying the kidney. And it could be just giving up smoking, and it could be also making sure you don't consume any more soy products, right? All right, number two, going on a low
Soy
carb
products
diet.
again.
It's going to give the kidney a tremendous amount of relief because now there'll be a whole heck of a lot less oxidation going on in the kidney. All right, number three, you need to correct your sodium potassium ratios. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to lower your sodium. All you need to do is make sure your potassium is at least twice as high as your sodium. How do you do that? Start eating more avocados, start
Okay.
having bigger amounts of
Avocados,
salad,
salads.
ideally between 7 to 10
I
cups
guess we
every
can check our
day. Now,
supplements to
if you're
see
doing other vegetables, you don't have to
what other
do
supplements
that
have
much salad,
potassium.
but you need
But
to start increasing more
I
foods
guess you can't just
high in
depend on those,
potassium.
of course.
But potassium is protective on the kidney, and I'm going to put all that data down below as well. All right, number four, if you have a lot of kidney
Just bought a
stress,
stack of
okay,
avocados yesterday.
you don't want to overload it with too much protein. You want to go on a moderate protein diet. When you overload the kidneys with too much protein, you can end up with foamy urine. You can put a little more stress on the kidneys because your body can only deal with so much protein. It doesn't store protein like fat and carbohydrates. It has to deal with this excess protein. So it either has to turn it into urea as a waste product, or it has to turn it into glucose as fuel. So too much
Ouch.
protein is not a good idea for the kidney. All right, number five, there are foods that you should be eating to naturally enhance the detoxification of the kidney. And let me just go through the list. Garlic. Garlic will increase the clearance of urea and other byproducts from the kidney. Then we have asparagus. Okay. Now, when you eat asparagus, you have this weird smell going on in your
That's true.
urine. That's not
That's true.
toxic material. It's something else for another video. But asparagus is really good to help you
It is good, but
detoxify
there is
the
that smell.
kidney. And then we have celery, another good detoxifier. And then parsley, awesome. Parsley is also good to help
I ate the
eliminate
parsley
heavy
when I go to
metals
the
from the
restaurant.
body. Cilantro is
It
also
also helps
good
with
as
bad
well.
breath.
Then we get turmeric, which is awesome for the kidney. Cruciferous vegetables. Those are good for the liver, but they're also equally as good for the kidney. Berries, especially blueberries, are really good for kidney detoxification. And then green tea. The phytonutrient in green tea can really help.
All right. So that was some good advice on how to detoxify your kidney. I've actually started being more aggressive with this the past few weeks, and I can say that increasing the vegetable intake has I feel different, and I also tend to add that in with more water and less sodium, less soft drinks or juices with sugar, that type of thing. Anyway, I just thought I'd go over this, and you can take what you need in this advice. I've taken a lot of it, and it's worked well for me. Thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate your time. Please, please, please like and subscribe. Thank you.